My name is Elizabeth. I come from a background of economics and sociology, and through the fellowship, I am specializing in the intersection of climate change, mega infrastructure, risk and resilience, and energy systems. I decided to join the UFP because after my degree, I was quite certain that I wanted to pursue a career in the climate space. But I wasn't sure what my entry point should be. Should I have more information before I make a decision? And I came across the UFP, and and I like the fact that it was very interdisciplinary in nature, where it linked what I study, what I've studied in my interests, as well as interest areas that I wanted to sort of understand further. And I was very drawn to it, and that's why I decided to do the fellowship. Oh, definitely, definitely. I think particularly through the commons as well as the elective term, the fact that we're not taught in silos, and we're constantly reminded of the fact that when you look at one perspective, there are obviously always multiple angles influencing it and vice versa. So definitely the interdisciplinary aspect of the program has been touched upon. The shift was quite, it, I mean, I wouldn't say it was entirely similar. My background was very, in both sociology and economics, quite theoretical. And I think coming here, I've been exploring a little bit more of the practicality of what I study. So for that reason, I think that shift is quite prominent. But I definitely see that certain aspects of what I've studied and what I'm studying here are complementing each other. I think the course structure is quite good because when it starts out, it's a very introductory base level structure where they do the foundation term. And then it sort of flows into the integrating aspect, which is the commons. And then once you have a sort of a flavor of how these systems sort of intersect, then you get to choose which ones you get to specialize in and how those areas intersect even further. So I think that it's a nice gradation. So yeah, I like it. I think it gave me a bit more clarity on the area that I want to pursue, career-wise. And I'm in that phase right now through the electives, particularly because of my interest to work in the climate change space. And even not just the course in itself, but also the faculty have been really helpful in that respect. Through their teaching, as well as in the office hours that we have with them, and the fact that they're able to shed light on what career trajectories you should follow, what areas should be looked at, what should not be looked at. So I think that's been very beneficial. So I've taken energy, I've taken mega infrastructure projects, I've taken urban risk and resilience, as well as climate change in cities. My favorite elective has definitely been the climate change elective, which I'm doing right now. And I've been able to see, at least from what I've done so far, how there are certain aspects of infrastructural projects that we look at, governance systems in that, and even the energy aspect, and the fact that we have the same professors sort of traversing the different electives. I think it's just been nice to see how they talk about these disciplines in different perspectives. So that's been good. And even though I haven't done risk as yet, a lot of references have been made to risk as well. So it's been good so far. So yeah. Yeah, so the master classes have been quite informative. I distinctly remember a couple we had with Anand and we had with Sai, I can't remember her name. So yeah, so those have been quite informative. And I think the best part about master classes is that it's a very practical perspective. Even to a certain extent, we look at things from theory, even in the UFP as well. But the master classes give you very grounded reality. And what are some of the challenges that you face and those kinds of things. So yeah, and I think it's always good because even with respect to building networks for future master's degrees and all those kinds of things, the master classes really help in that respect. Oh, the skill labs have been good. I like the skill labs because it helps me hone certain areas that I feel either I'm probably good at and would like to explore more, or certain aspects where I feel like I need to improve on. An example of that would be, say, like writing. Writing is a competency that I know I have, but doing the skill lab has sort of made me develop that much more, which I really like. Whereas skills like data or maybe like qualitative research are areas that I was interested in and I knew I wanted to develop. And having the opportunity of a skill lab to sort of start at a base level and grow quite a bit in that span has been really helpful. Currently, I'm working with my project is the survey of mega infrastructure projects, and I'm working with Amog and Neha, Tanvi, Prajna. And what I'm doing is I'm essentially looking at economic industrial corridors in India, and I'm sort of questioning if you can make those economic corridors work for agriculture as well, given the agricultural potential that we have in our country. So that's what I'm exploring, and it's been quite nice so far. Yeah, it is. It's quite. When I first started the fellowship, the fact that we had someone all the way from Kashmir to Trivandrum was quite interesting to see. And yeah, so I think that post the fellowship, if I had to say go to any majority parts of the country, I think I'd have a friend there, which has been quite nice. Actually, I have multiple messages, but one thing is that I think there's a lot of potential in the urban to exercise like change, and I'm talking specifically from like let's say a climate change angle, and if we want young professionals, or if we want anyone to sort of learn and identify, okay, how do I begin? Or I know I'm interested in this space, but where do I start? I think coming to the fellowship sort of serves as a really good ground base in that respect. And yeah, I'd encourage them to take it because sometimes it may get confusing, but I feel like it will probably give a lot more clarity on where they should sort of like set foot after the program.